Welcome back, everyone, to another sensational podcast with MYB. In today's session here, guys, we're back again. We're back at it with mayor, the candidate of Alva. Hopefully, you guys vote for him or not. Who really cares? At least we're back here tonight, giving you guys more perspective. But reality, people, be appreciative that you guys woke up. Be appreciative that you guys are alive. Because if you think about it now, you have the privilege to actually see this video. So be grateful that you have electricity. Be appreciative that you have an apartment. You're not homeless, right? So, with that being said, people, right, the mayor politics is not really saving you. No one is coming to save you but you. No matter if you vote for him or not, whoever you vote for, no politician is coming into this world to save you. Like no one else. No politician is coming to tell you we're going to invest in S&P 500 together. No politician is going to tell you get up, be disciplined, be consistency, be motivation, and become boredom. No politician is going to tell you come and build a brand. No politician is coming to save you. So why you be so concerned of who is the new mayor, who is the new person, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, bro about to die, give or take a couple of weeks, then he croaked. He ain't did nothing for y'all, but what happened? You guys stay broke. 5 months from now, 5 years from now, you guys stay broke. So it's really you have to get up. You guys are dependent on the food stamp, the EBT. That's why you guys so comfort. Because comfort is the dangerous game in this world. Because the more you guys be comfort, the more you guys be slacking, then you guys become disposable. AI is here and AI is going to wipe you out. But anyway, people, if you think about it now, people, someone got to be stupid. So why not you? So with that being said, people, enjoy the circus.
Yeah, that's the circus. Well, he ain't speaking too far from the truth. You know, when you grow up in a big city, you learn a lot. You learn how to survive. You learn how to take care of yourself. I had a great upbringing. My parents took very good care of me. You know, but I spent a lot of my time on the streets, the hard streets. And because I felt more comfortable there. And when you come to a small country, I bring a lot of experience of how to survive. And right now, Alva, Oklahoma is barely surviving. And it's the fault of the good old boy system. Just the same thing over and over. We call it the 9-to-5 rut in the business world. And it really doesn't help the fact that you have corruption in all politics. You have corruption in the presidency. You have corruption in the Senate. You have corruption everywhere. Because remember this is always a key to remember in life. Wherever there's free money, you're going to find criminals. And you have to protect yourself from those criminals. You have to learn the ways to be able to understand. And our young people, especially at the colleges, they need to learn the school of hard knocks, not just how easy mommy and daddy made it for them. You have to listen to reality, and life is going to kick you so hard it's not funny. And the people in Alva, Oklahoma, where I want to run for mayor, and I am running for mayor, are suffering, especially our older generation, our 55 and older, and they're hurting. It's tough on them. And the current government isn't doing anything for them. They just do everything for themselves. I can't describe. I have found out some information from a very good source, and I entrust this source. But I will talk about that later. I am basically going to do a debate format with myself. I have a mediator, and he's going to be asking me questions, and then we're going to treat it like a debate. And then he's going to do a rebuttal, and then I have to re-answer the question. So in other words, he's going to be talking. He's going to be representing you, the people. He's going to be drilling from you, the people, and if I got the right answers, beautiful, vote for me. You know, it breaks down to one simple thing. If you like your government, if you like the way everything is being run now, then you go ahead and vote for my two constituents, because they'll make sure everything continues to run just like it's been running over the last 10 years. But if you want change, if you want someone that at least will give it an honest try to break up the good old boy system and to get things really rolling, then that's me. I'm not part of the system. I'm above the system as far as what we need. We need new leadership. We need new ideas. We need new revenue. We need new budget cutting. It's I'll give you an example. When I was going to school at Grand Canyon University, I was in a government class, and the mayor of Peoria, Illinois, this was some years ago, the mayor of Peoria, Illinois came to my instructor. She was the head of the political science government classes, and asked her if she could pick one of her classes to do the city budget. Now, mind you, when Peoria, when he first come to her with this, they were $650,000 in the red. The city was hurting. So what happened was it wasn't my class she presented to, but I had a friend that was in the class that she did. So they took it home. They took a copy of the budget home. Each individual one worked on it, and then they brought it back. Well, I helped my buddy work on his. Did you know that they cut 40 to 45% of that budget of the waste? And now these are government college students that found this waste, and they cut it off. And it was amazing. There was not though each one did it individually, they almost were right on in where they brought the cuts. So the mayor took those results. Guess what he did? He went ahead and used that. That was the new proposed budget. Within a year, after the year that budget was imposed, that city went to a $900 and some thousand black. In other words, they were $900 and some $1,000 in the head. You know, maybe that's what we need to do here. Let's take the dad burn budget and let's turn it over to one of the, to a group of kids or something. I don't know. I'm just kidding. We can't do that. It's frustrating. I've heard from a source that we're between $500,000 and $600,000 in debt. I can't confirm it, but it does bring up a suspicion that I've had, and I mentioned it in last night's video. Why didn't Taylor Dowling? Why didn't he rerun for mayor? He only lost by 53 to 47 to Mayor Parker. Why didn't he run? What is waiting for either one of us three candidates? What's happened? What's waiting for us? A disaster? A disaster that we're not going to be able to handle? I mean, I would understand that if Joe Parsons was elected mayor, then chances are it would just continue to flow as it does. And Joey Milton, I don't know him enough. I know he used to be on the city council, so I don't know how he would flow. He could very well be like me and do a whole different counter perspective. But me, if I walk in there and find out that source was actually right and we're $500,000 to $600,000 in debt, is that fair to do that to any mayor coming in, especially someone that's new? No, it wouldn't be. But you know what? It would be my responsibility. It would be my mess to fix. Whether I fixed it or not, it would all fall onto my shoulders. Could I fix it? Possibly. But I don't know. And if it happens that way and I'm elected, I'll fix it. I'll find a way. That's how I've been. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a problem solver. So with no further ado,
we cannot complain. So speaking of that, right? Speaking of what you've been through, the elephant in the room for you specifically right now is your past with the credit card, the scam system that people posting around. Could you, with the Social Security, could you elaborate how on that and how you make that decision in life to allow that past to come up now to haunt you?
It's not haunting me right now. Yes, I'm sorry for what I did. It was Social Security fraud. Okay, everybody's done it, and that sounds weird, right? Everybody's done it, But in the position I was in, I was totally in a distraught, totally mind-boggling life. I wasn't in my right mind for a year. I can't even describe the feeling. But I'll tell you, the one thing that sticks in my mind is being led in a courtroom in shackles, with your arms shackled and your ankle shackled, like I had been treated like I had just killed 7 people in a federal crime or something. And to have your best friend see you come in there like that? I mean, do you know the shame? The shame of that? That was more shameful to me than actually the crime itself. And in the U.S. Marshal's eyes, in the U.S. District Attorney's eyes, this was so minor, it should have been a misdemeanor. But because they made it the 2 minor felonies, it had ruined my life with the horse racing industry because I couldn't hold a license and train horses, which was my passion and my livelihood at the time. So I went ahead and accepted that. But, it's people make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, guys. I'm admitting it. When I filled out the filing claim for mayor, I put it on there. I didn't hide it. You have to be upfront and honest. Everybody makes mistakes. There's a lot of people in this town that have made mistakes. Should they be punished the rest of their life for it? Of course not. Nobody should. It's what you are now. I mean, I'm a great person. I'm loved by a lot of people, a lot of kids, and I have a great job. But yeah, I'm very regretful in what I did. It was the most humiliating thing I ever did in my life. And I learned my lesson. I never want to go through that again. I don't want anybody to ever go through anything like that. That is embarrassing, to be shackled by your hands and feet for a crime that was so minor. It wasn't even, it was a blotch on a piece of paper. So yeah, that's my dark side. That's a dark side in my life, but that's in the past. What I want to do is I want to help people. I want to help get everything straightened out. That's what I'm all about.
From what you just said, that's how the people is going to view you. But what I take away from that, I take away 3 things. A lot of excuses. You mentioned you're not in the right mind. So if you was not in the right mind when you was younger, when your mind is at its fullest, at its peak, what makes you fitable to run mayor when you're older? If your mind, you said that your mind was not in the right mind. And you also said you done Social Security because everyone done it. So because everyone is doing it, that means shit is cool. So because everyone drink, we all gonna drink. So because everyone comfortable, we just gonna stay comfortable.
I just being in your right mind, I don't want to be into that position again. So I would never put myself into that position to be there. Look, I think President Trump said it best. Now, of course, a lot of people accused him of bankruptcies and a lot of crimes and a lot of things he did. 37 counts. Somebody posted on one of the Facebook pages today, you knew he was a MAGA candidate. At least he only had 2 felonies. The president had 37. So what's the difference between 2 felonies and 37? It's still a crime. And it's what you are now compared to what it was then. And if I was not in my right mind because I was mourning the death of my mother and my son. So it's like nothing like that's going to happen again because I really don't have much family left except my current wife and a stepson that lives in Mankato, Minnesota. But I'm in my right mind. I have been in my right mind for the last 15, 16 years since all of this happened. I'm very sharp-witted. I'm excellent with math. I'm excellent with numbers. And I can get things done. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm ready to tackle whatever. I'm a problem solver. And that's what entrepreneurs do. We solve problems. We slap ourselves in the face and say, wake up. Look, just like the moderator said, you know, you can, is it okay to go out and drink and you go out and do it? No, it's not. But the thing is, you have to make your decisions. You have to make your decisions then and now. Yeah, you might have a problem and you might have every reason to go out and get drunk and get wasted or whatever. But remember, that problem is not going away. You're just going to postpone it for 4 or 5 hours. Then you're going to have two problems. One, you're going to have this morning, the sickness afterwards where you're throwing up everywhere. But that problem did not go away. And that's what's important.
What does Alva, Oklahoma look like in 10 years if you are mayor? Not just physically, but economically and culturally.
Culture's come a long way in Alva, Oklahoma. I mean, it wasn't up until I believe it was 1970, somebody told me that blacks were actually allowed in the city limits. I mean, that's pretty recent compared to a lot of other, cities throughout the United States. I think of Alva, Oklahoma as, an opportunity for everybody. And what do I see in the next 10 years? I see a revenue. We've got to do something. They talk about I saw somebody on Facebook today posted, but we're going to build an arena across from the prison. That's where they're planning on putting this arena. And this arena is going to cost upwards to $2 million to build. Where is this city going to get the money to do that? I understand that we want to kind of go up in the world, but you have to stay reasonable. Where is all our money going? Everybody talks about the water rates are so high. Where is that money going? Obviously, it's going somewhere because one, the water isn't getting taken care of. Our pipes, the only great thing that's going on right now is we haven't had no serious cold spell, so our pipes are surviving. But how long will that last? You can look into the future. The future, yes. The perfect future would be we've got a piping system that'll continue to flow our water over the next 60 years. And depending on what material is used. Then we'll get our streets fixed. And then they will be fine. But looking at Alva for 10 years, Alva is going to be a people of older people, and we got an older generation that is slowly dying off. I mean, in 10 years, there's a chance we might lose 5 or 6 more of our wonderful older people. And then what are the youth going to do? What I have to do to look for 10 years in the future, I have to find a way to keep our youth that grow up in this city and are raised by their parents. I got to give them reasons to say, stay in Alva, Oklahoma. Don't go to Weatherford. Don't go. We've got a university here they can go to. Have them stay here. I mean, losing people to other cities is the worst thing that you can do. But if there's too much corruption in a city and people lose faith in the leaders that are leading that city, they're going to leave. I mean, half the people I see on that I'm talking to on Facebook, they don't live here no more. They've moved out. I've heard people tell me a lot of people have moved away from. Oh, I used to live in Alva, Oklahoma, and I visit there once in a while. But why are these people leaving? That is the common question. If you don't have a vision, then people leave. So my problem is I got to find a way over the next 10 years to keep people home to where they can stay here and build businesses. I mean, businesses now are getting to the point to where you don't need a physical office. You can actually be at home and do your business. So that's the going. AI is the way. I mean, AI is going to make everything so much easier for the stay-at-home people. That's what we have here in Alva. We have a lot of stay-at-home people. And they may have the opportunity to make their future and at least enjoy what they have.
So you're speaking of enjoy. So basically what I get from the conversation is nothing. In 10 years, nothing going to be here. When I mean 10 years, it's like, for example, when you close your eyes right now and you imagine New York, you imagine Vegas, you imagine London, you imagine these places. When I said Alva in 10 years, all I hear was fixing the pipe. The pipe is the country problem. Fixing the pothole, that's the country problem. What are you really doing for the people? How is the people getting a job? You mentioned AI. Yes, AI is here, but you also have to cater for the people. Because you don't be so concerned about fixing AI. We know AI is the people, but at least provide for the people that we could at least have a job to go to. So how is really 10 years from now, like you said nothing. You said no buildings going up, nothing. You said entertainment by the prison. So entertainment is pretty much a distraction for the people. Then they have to go and spend the money at the entertainment, and you guys give them a cheap stimulus check, like say like a Make-A-Wish kid. Every once in a while, you guys damn near get the stimulus check. But in reality, 10 years from now, Alva's still gonna be nothing.
Well, a lot of it depends on what we have in the budget right now. I have no clue what's in the budget. I would love that. I mean, yeah, I'm going to bring a Brahms. I'm going to try to bring a Brahms. I want to bring a Chick-fil-A. I mean, I want to bring things to the city. I can't bring a casino. A casino would raise a lot of revenue. The casino could literally build the arena for us, and then we could share it with shows and things that we want here in Alva. But we can't do that because this isn't Indian land. It was a land grant, a land rush, and we lost all our right for that. So what's the next way to bring in revenue? We'll just have to bring in more businesses. Maybe I can go to Oklahoma City or something, find a business that might be that I can give them, a lower tax break just to bring here so they can employ jobs. I mean, that's always a possibility because their people aren't going to be able to travel here. That's a 3.5-hour drive. So they would have to rely on hiring people here in Alva to work. And yeah, that would be great if we could get something like that here. Now, we get a Brahms, we get a Chick-fil-A, that's 100 jobs coming to the city of Alva, Oklahoma. Yes, that makes an improvement. What we've got to take advantage of is our grants. What kind of grants do we get? I can't imagine that this city hasn't gotten any grants over the last 8 to 10 years. And those happen all the time. Those come from the state. Those come from the federal government. I want to do a transportation system. That's federally funded. That bus system would be federally funded by transportation funds from the government. So that would have nothing to do with the people here. We would not have to put any money out for that. It's all about what is waiting for the next mayor in that budget. That is the key. We have to get, if we are in the red, almost $600,000, then we got to get out of the red into the black and somehow find a way to stimulate more money, get more travel, maybe tourism. I know this sounds silly. Maybe write more tickets for out-of-town people. I can't do much until I see what I've got to work with. But I want to make changes. We better bust this up now. There's even talk of rezoning of residential to business to residential, farm to this. That came up in one of the council meetings I attended last year. So, and that would cost $600,000 to get us up to date and caught up to where all the bigger cities are caught up. So there's so much out there and nothing's getting done, and that's the problem.
So you talk so much about the people. Everything you're saying is the people, right? So how do you plan to invest in people, not just infrastructures, especially young adults who feel there's no future here in Alva?
There is a future here in Alva if the right government is in place. And I don't mean a revolution. I just mean people that don't care about themselves, but representatives that care about the people. They don't care about how much money they're making. Do you realize the mayor job salary, I believe, is $280 a month? Yeah. So, am I doing it for the money? No. Am I doing it for the fame? Yeah, maybe. So, what's the alternative? No, I'm doing it because I'm tired of seeing people suffer. There's got to be more ways, and so there's got to be social programs out there. When I was in Phoenix, Arizona, and I took a field trip for my government class, there was $1.1 billion budgeted. I mean, budgeted for the social, for their social system. You know, everything that's social, that is social, for Medicare, Medicaid, this. I mean, everything. 1.1 billion. They didn't have enough people employed to be able to use that money. So that money just sitting there. Is that what's happening here? Is that what's happening? Are we just letting money sit and people are just drawing off of it? What is going on? Why is this city, and this is not me talking, this is people I'm talking to. They're saying their water bills are way too high. Okay, where they're making these high water bill payments, where's the money going? Where does it go? I mean, you know, you're paying $100 a month. Some people are paying $200 a month. Not to mention the farmers and everybody else. Where is that money going? Does anybody know? It's frustrating. I don't understand how this city, Buffalo doesn't have a university. Winoka doesn't have a university, but for some reason they seem to be doing okay. But Alva has a university, and it could be $600,000 in the red. So I just don't know. I mean, when Trump took over, you all saw the statistics. People on Social Security living 140 years old had been drawn Social Security for 60 years after they died when they were 80. I mean, really? And that's the federal government telling you that. That is statistics that weren't lying. So if the federal government is allowing crap like that to get away, then why can't it be happening here? This is the situation and the problem that politicians have to deal with. I don't care. I don't want to be a politician. I just want to be a regular guy to come and help the people, just like I would if they were, if they needed $20. Yeah, here's $20. I go, get something to eat. But it all starts with the budget. We've got to have a surplus. We got to get revenue. We got to get a surplus. Then we can start looking at ways to keep people living in Alva and to start investing in things that could bring the city more money.
So basically, again, like as always, nothing. I asked you, you sound like Camilla. I asked you a question, you give me a different perspective. I asked you, how has you helping the youths in Alva? You start telling me water bill, farming, Trump. You saying we as in who? You guys sending the taxpayer money to French? Who do you mean is we? We as the corporation. The we is not the people problem. The people problem is they need free water. Is damn near 70% on earth. Water should be free. Electricity should be free. So why as you keep saying we? And like I said, as for future kids, like in the Bible, it also said Jesus mainly targeted the kids. Because why? From 1 to 50, that's who he targeted in Alva. Anyone who live in Alva over 50 and up, their generation over. They're stupid. Because if you think about it, they're in a situation now that they're relying on politics. They're watching this right now because they're relying on someone else to come save them. They're looking at this, they're looking to you like you damn near the white knight. You come save them. But in reality, no one is coming to save them, right? So how is what we really here for the youth? You're targeting, you're pretty much about to die in a couple of days, couple of months, couple of years. You're targeting people who the elderly, 60, 70, 80, 90. But what about the kids? What are you bringing here to help the kids stay in the community?
Well, usually most of the students that come to the university here are usually out of town. Like I said, it's an athletic school, so only about 15 to 20% of the kids would technically stay here because they're from other cities all across the country, small towns, big cities. So, but making it fun for them, a nightclub, maybe a safe nightclub, where they can go have fun, eat food, just, party under a controlled, situation instead of just going out and partying at some, bar where, no one cares. And then they get out, they get in their cars half wasted, and then they get into an accident, or a police officer pulls them over and their life is over. So to the youth, while they're here at school, we need to come up with something that would keep them here. But the unfortunate thing is, one of the things that I found with a lot of students, boredom. They're bored. So what do? We have to get some kind of night where there's bowling, where there's pool, where they can drink under a controlled environment. I mean, it's common sense that I want to do that. I know how these kids hurt. I mean, they get bored. And when you get bored, you get into trouble. I don't want these kids getting into trouble. So the moderator's exactly right. But coming up with the answers is tough until you know what the answers are when you get to see the problems. And I just don't know what I would be walking to right now, even if I was elected. Am I running into a disaster? It's an incredible, these problems shouldn't be coming up. These problems should not be coming up in a small city like this. This city should be vibrant with the university. It should be vibrant. It should be strong. The people should have good lives, but they don't. Is it drugs? Is there, that could be another problem. I just don't know what's going on. And the kids have to have some place to go to stay out of trouble. The only thing I can think of is a nice nightclub. I mean, they have the nightlight. The nightlight is not a bad place, but it's far away from the school, and they have to drive home. They take the back roads or whatever. I mean, it needs to be someplace close to where they could literally walk. But looking into the future, yeah, we're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. I could sit here right now and croak. But I understand what he's trying to drill into me, but I want to do what he's asking, but I just don't want to promise anything that's severe unless I know what I'm going into when I'm elected.
You always speak about helping Alva and giving them jobs. So what specific steps will you take to bring stability jobs to Alva instead of relying on people leaving town to survive?
Well, like I said, if we were to bring more businesses into Alva, then we could hire more people. But then again, you have to look at the fact. If I bring a Brahms in, that's going to be probably about 20 people over 2 shifts. If I bring a Chick-fil-A in, that's going to be another 50 people, 20 to 40 people that are going to have to work 2 shifts. Now the question is, if these businesses come here, do I have enough people that can do and work these shifts? Well, yes, I do. The university students can do it. Like I said, and if any of our older citizens want to do, yes, they can work too. I mean, I just talked about boredom. I didn't even realize that. If we bring businesses in that can hire the young people to do part-time work, then that gives them something to do. It gives them a sense of responsibility. It gives them a sense, and they're being productive to the city. I mean, it all comes down to what kind of businesses. I would love to bring a manufacturing business in here, maybe like a mini Ford or something like that. Some business that employs, that would also be paying in taxes to the city to help bring that revenue up. And that's basically the only real thing that I know I'm stuttering. I know I'm not really answering a lot of questions that probably you want to hear. I'm trying, but I have to look at reality and say, I just don't know 100% what I would be walking into. And I hear horror stories. I hear them all the time. And I just don't know. Once I get in there, once I see, and I get on the phone and I start making phone calls to differing places, to the state, to the feds, getting them grant money. If we are getting grant money, putting it into the right places. I mean, you're talking grant money can be up to $200,000 or $300,000 a year, depending on what that's coming in, because the state helps cities, just like I said, the water system, everything. So I can't promise what I don't know anything about. All I can promise is that I'm going to work hard to make the wholesale changes to hopefully take us out of the rut that we're in and go ahead and bring us into a more up-to-date situation. That's about how, let me hear the rebuttal.
So pretty much as the mayor, all I'm hearing is you're just gonna tell the people, hey, listen to people, we as a corporation, we have our own shit. We need help too. We in debt. So we might need to raise you guys taxes, raise you guys inflation, because we're so much in debt. You got, as taxpayers, have to bail me out of debt before I could even help you. So I need you to help me, but you already are paying me of taxpayer Social Security. Now I'm gonna increase the raise for you to pay me more to save me out of debt. Then after you save me, I'm gonna come back in 10 years from now, and the job situation you name restaurant jobs, in 10 years from now, AI is wiping out all of those jobs you said. So those people here in Alva still is gonna have no job. Now you say fast food, so now all your ideas are strictly food. So what is people gonna be obese in Alva? Now they're damn near fat, they damn near can't work out, because why? Everything is food, and you promise them activity once a week. That's like I said. So now Alva is like the Make-A-Wish kid. They get a surprise, a treat by going to the entertainment park, entertainment museum, watch a concert once a week. Why is they still homeless? They still got no job, because everything you said is you telling the people, we got our own shit too. As a corporation, we got our own shit. So you help us solve our shit by paying our debt off, so us to get back even, and promise you not to get back in debt. But at the same time, promise you that shit. But in reality, we're gonna get back in debt, because it's your money we playing with. So why do we really talk to me?
That's one thing I won't do. I will not put the pressure on the people. If we are that far in debt, I'm just going to have to work 24/7 to try to find ways to make up that money. And let me tell you something. If there is corruption, and if that money hasn't went or is not where it's supposed to be, I have no problems. I will go to the DA immediately, and I will get an investigation started immediately to find out where all this money went. I've heard about diversion of money and things like that, and I don't want to bring that up, but my moderator is absolutely forcing me to do that. He's forcing me into a situation that I didn't want to bring up. Corruption is huge in government. We all know it. And finding money that's been misappropriated into other things can be a big situation. I'm telling you right now, I will not hesitate. If this is the case, I will not hesitate to have heads roll. If there has been any kind of misappropriating of money, I am going to find it, and I will make sure that it's repaid. You better repay it, or heads will roll. That's basically what I can do about that. But no, I am not going to raise no taxes. I'm not going to make the people of Alva pay for a debt that wasn't their fault. I'll find a way. I will find a way to get that debt wiped out. And if that means, taking people to jail because they corrupted money, I have no problems in doing that. I mean, nobody's above the law. I wasn't. I paid for it, so I ain't gonna let anybody else get away with it. So no, I will not take money out of the people's pockets to pay off a debt that wasn't their fault. That's got to come from other means, and I will make sure that I find ways for the people not to have to pay that debt. I'll get it paid off. I'll find a way.
How will your administration support local small businesses instead of letting outside cooperation dominate the economy?
Even though there's 5,000 people in Alva, and then another 1,800 with the students at the school, so it's 8 to 9 months a year. There are students that attend school here, so they're a big part of the economy because they don't like they want to go and eat in other places. Well, maybe the kids will be frequenting the Brahms or the Chick-fil-A, but I want to make sure that the smaller businesses, that the people that frequent the small businesses like Taco Village, Taco Mayo, and then Cancun, I want to make sure that they will keep their customers, because in a sense they're sit down eat down restaurants. They're more elegant. If you want that more elegant meal, then you go to one of those three restaurants. If you just want to grab some quick food, which mainly the kids will do, then you go to Chick-fil-A or Brahms. So that I don't foresee bringing in two eating places that would change too much of the smaller businesses that currently serve. We also have Chopsticks, which is an all-you-can-eat Chinese place. They could suffer a little bit. I just have to wait. I have to wait and see. There's a lot of wheels and cogs into into creating situations that I would have to deal with, and we just have to deal with it as they come. It would be 2 years at least, I'm assuming, before we would even get a Chick-fil-A or a Brahms here.
So basically, nothing. One of your ideas was bring Brahms in the country, in Alva, but that's still outside cooperation. Money still is going to Chick-fil-A. Money still is going back to Brahms. Money is not staying in Alva. The local businesses, if you think about it, how many everywhere in Alva is just churches and food, right? But every college kids are going to fast food, so they're going to McDonald's, Sonic, and your idea is to bring in a next corporation, which is Chick-fil-A, which is Brahms. Those money is not going back to the local people. The local jobs like Vanilla Bean, but it's still food. Besides feeding the people, right? You got the food, yeah. What else are you giving them basically?
Well, like I said, the students are here 8 to 9 months a year. So, I see them go all the time to McDonald's and to wherever. And if I have some place for them, then it should work out fine. The people will go to the establishment. They're used to having some place, Cancun's. They'll go there. They will frequent because they'll want to keep those mom and pop businesses going. The Brahms and the Chick-fil-A are to pacify the kids. And if I have to do incentives to our smaller, maybe less in taxes, maybe less, maybe have to drop their sales tax or whatever by 1%. I can always do that. It's just, yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm not really solving a whole lot of things, but I don't know what I can do. I've got to get the necessities first. I've got to get the pipes fixed. I got to get the roads, and I got to do all the basics, because if there are no roads and pipes are popping up everywhere and we got to close a road because it's going to take 3 weeks to get a pipe fixed, then no one can get around. Then businesses are going to suffer anyway. So I have to look at the basic needs. I mean, I know the future is important, but I have to look at the basic needs. We need a better water system, a transportation system, and we need our roads fixed. That's the main keys right now. People have been able to survive all of this time with these problems already to pass. Can they survive in the future? Yes, it looks like Alvins can. They always find a way to survive. It's up to us. It's up to the government. It's up to the city council to help them. If money is going where it's not supposed to go, then it needs to go where it needs to go. And that's the best thing I can promise, is that if there is corruption, I will find it and I will fix it.
How will citizens hold you accountable as mayor? And what system will you put in place to ensure transparency?
What I would like to do is once a week have a meeting, an open forum for the people. I'll bring paperwork, bring pad, okay? Have the people come in and tell me, okay, what do we need? What is going on? Let them know what is in the budget. In other words, yeah, I know the city says you can view the budget on our website. I've never really seen it. I mean, not into detail. So people don't really want to have to deal with that. They're entrusting their government officials to take care of that. The people shouldn't have to see it. But I'm going to make Dadburn sure that they do see it, and I'm going to make sure they know what's going on. And if I find, if after 5 days in office, I find corruption, I'm going right to that. I'm going to tell them, yes, I found the corruption. Yes, here, money was supposed to go here and it didn't go there. Money is there and it didn't go here. I will be transparent and let them know, and then they can make the decision on who needs to do what and who needs to repay back, because they either pay the money they take, or it goes to the DA. I just can't believe I'm here. I've heard so many people tell me that the government is corrupt here in Alva, and I don't want to believe it, and I can't believe it. So I don't know if my other two are just the other two candidates are hoping to win so they can keep everything flowing as it is, or not. If I get in there, they know they're scared of me. Obviously, they're scared of me because they're already talking about things that I want to do already throughout. I mean, I'm hearing stories about, I had a friend of mine today, he was at the store, and he started a conversation up with one person Next thing you know, there were 15 people he was talking with, and it was like it ended up being a group chat. And their main concern was, where is all of our water money going? Where is all of this going? What? So I don't have the answers. I can't answer that. I can't even be sure it is. The only way I'll be able to know is if I'm elected and I go in there and see for myself. So no, I can't accuse anybody of taking anything or any corruption. You can only have suspicions until you get to the point to where you see where the corruption is. And the only way to do that is I need to be mayor so I can go in there. It's only 1 year, folks. 1 year. And if you ain't happy with if I'm not doing enough to try to make things right, then I will not run again. You just tell me, Brian, we're not happy with you. If we have a meeting, if we have one of those auditorium meetings, and half of you say, Mr. Ferris, you're not doing what you promised. You said you were going to do this. You said you were going to find this. You said, don't be afraid to ask me. I want to know. That's what transparency is. If you're not happy with what I'm doing or something that I'm not doing or doing, come to me. Talk to me. I'm just like everybody else. I have a job. I'm always out and about in the community. Stop me. If you see me walking down the street or if you see me sitting in McDonald's or whatever, come up to me. Mr. Ferris, I'm disappointed in you. You're not doing what you said you're going to do. And a lot of other people feel the same way. Beautiful. That's great. I want to know that. I don't want to hear it from 3 different people. I want you to come to me and tell me, Mr. Ferris, you're not doing a good job at this job. What is the problem? And I will discuss it with you. That's transparency. Being able to talk to people one-on-one or in a group setting or in an auditorium. I don't want people to just go, oh yeah, he's okay. He's doing an okay job. No, if I'm not doing a good job, I want to know that I'm not doing a good job. Because if I'm not doing a good job, then I'm very disappointed in myself. And if I don't change things, then I don't want to deal with it. You're unhappy, but be honest with me. Be honest with me. If you don't like what I'm doing, and that's transparency. That's the real definition of transparency. Being there to take the criticism and to work with it and not downgrade people because they are giving you criticism. Because when it comes down to reality, they are the ones that have to suffer for your stupidity. And if you ain't doing what you told them you're going to do, promises made, promises kept, then they have the right to confront you and say, what's going on? Why aren't you doing what you told me you were going to do when I voted you into office? That's transparency. That's what I want. I want people to talk to me. They can yell at me. They can be mad. They can be upset. But I want to know from their mouths if I'm not doing a good job.
So, gratitude, Lord, for sight. The reason I say for sight, you basically want people to Alva to leave their house, go in their car, turn their car on, drive to a place every week, just for you to tell them we have pipe problem, water problem, pot problem, what's going on. We're seeing what's going on. We know what's going on. Right? You want people to come up to you and talk to you and be more precise to you about what you're doing wrong. It's like your mom tell you make up your bed in the morning. You're supposed to make up your bed every morning. So what do you mean you want people to come and tell you, oh, you're doing a horrible job? You want that? No, these people should be coming and tell you, yes, Brian, you saved me, man. Last month I was going through this. Yes, you saving Alva. Not you're doing a shitty job. The other guy doing a shitty job. These people was telling other candidates and other mayor, you're doing a shitty job. And what they did, nothing about it. So you want people to come up to you and talk to you and have transparency and tell you you're doing a shitty job. Like your parents yelling at you, telling you, clean your room, clean your room. Why not just clean your room? So your parents come and tell you, man, your room looks good, man. So why do you want to tell people what's already going on? It's like it's raining outside. You know it's raining. I see it raining. I don't need to drive to a public location every Saturday for you to tell me, guys, it's raining. What you got for me?
Well, I'm just using I'm just using the example of coming to me and saying I'm not doing a good job. Oh, don't get me wrong. If I'm doing a great job, yes, I want to know that. Yes, I want to know that I'm doing a good job. And every week letting you know, okay, so they started construction on 3rd Street. They're telling me that 3rd Street construction will last 4 weeks. So I keep everybody updated on what on that going on construction projects, on water, what's going on. How no, we're not going to raise the water. I'm going to try to lower the water. Yes, of course, I want people to come up to me. I just want to be transparent. I want to be out there to know that you can talk to me at any time, anywhere. I mean, I love to walk. I would love to walk down the street, just walk down Center Street or Church Street, looking at, and just imagining, wow, what a great city. And I'm the mayor of that city. Am I doing a great job for these people? And to have somebody come out and say, hi, Mr. Mayor, hi, Mr. Ferris. God, thank you with this new construction, or thank you for making life a little easier on us with stimulus. If I can do stimulus checks or lower taxes, anything. Compliments are always great, but you never want to get a swelled head, because you got to keep, even though you're doing a good job, you can do a better job. And yeah, that's great. Thank you for the compliment. I'm doing a good job. Is there anything more that I'm not doing that you might help you? They'll either say yes or they'll say no. But no, I'm not telling people that, you got to make your bed. I mean, you shouldn't have to worry about what your lives are about because of what I'm doing. I'm trying to do the best job I can to make lives easier for the people here in Alva, Oklahoma. And you got to remember, I'm part of the community too. So anything I do, I'm doing to myself. So I got to pay a higher water bill, or the landlords have to pay. There's some apartments, I believe. I know I live in one that, utilities are paid. But, people take advantage of that, and that's not right either. Yeah, sure, utilities are paid by the landlord, but you should still be reasonable. Turn your lights out when you leave a room, turn your TV off when you leave the room, or when you're taking a shower. Don't, take a 3-minute shower, save water. I already foresee we haven't had a snow yet. We haven't had really anything anything normal for what we usually have in winters. It's great for the streets and great for the pipes because they're not bursting. But what happens over the next 6 months if we don't get no snow? And if we don't get no snow, we don't get no rain. And it's a dry March, it's a dry April, it's a dry May. What happens to the farmers? They're ready to plant, but they've got hardly any water to water the crops. What's going to happen to them? We're talking about the city itself. What happens if we go into a water shortage, a water drought? I'm looking ahead to that already, because I'm talking to people right now that are saying that there have been winters where it's hardly ever snowed. And if that means we're in a situation that we're not used to, we could go into a drought. We might not get a drop of rain for the next 6 months, and we need that water. So I have to look forward to that. I mean, if we have a water shortage, and we had them in California, in LA, believe me, we had to cut back water, or they fined the heck out of us if we didn't, because California has a bad water problem. And when they go into droughts, it gets really serious. When you go into a drought and all of a sudden water's drying up, well, now you can't water your lawns because we got to save every drop for drinking, laundry. We have to cut down, showers. So I've got to look forward to things like that. So yeah, I mean, that's a major situation that I'm looking at that I'm going to have to prepare for to be ready. And if that means cutting water pressure 60% to save water, because our farmers and their cattle need water. So, I know a lot of them probably have underground, storage. They have pumps that bring up their water. Okay, that's fine. But still, we need water here in the city for all the restaurants, for to make their Coca-Colas or whatever. So I'm looking forward that we could be in a drought situation. And if I'm mayor on February 11th, I have to take that into consideration, and the council has to take that in consideration. We got to look ahead. We got to plan ahead. And that's what I would do.
Okay, you mentioned planning ahead to the future, basically. So what role do you believe the city should play in supporting education, trade skills, and entrepreneurship for the next generation?
It comes down to the teachers. We have to get a little more. How do I want to say it? Stricter on our curriculum. We just don't want to just have kids going through, give them a few lessons and whatever, and graduate them on. That's unfair. So what we got to do is we got to teach certain things about life. We got to teach things at younger ages and get these kids' minds thinking. Entrepreneurship, for example, in high school. Do you realize that teachers do not teach anything about basic life once you get out of high school? Your parents might. They try to do the best they can, but how can they? They work. They're not home. So you have to rely on more teachers. Now, one of the things I would like to do, and if there's a lot of families or a lot of parents that work until 5 o'clock and these kids get off at 3 or 3:30, what are they going home and doing? We need like an afternoon program or something, like a YWCA, a YMCA. We had those. We had after school programs like in LA schools. The kids would do football, outside activities. They would be under somewhat supervision until the 5 o'clock, when they could all go home, because that was usually the time that the parents got home. But a lot of high school students come out of high school and they don't even know how to budget a book. They don't know how to sit down and budget their rent or anything to that aspect. That has to be taught. Basic life skills have to be taught. And we, as educators, we have to free up some money to help. If we have to hire another teacher for a specific coverage. Entrepreneurship. What is entrepreneurship? Problem solving. We can hire another instructor for that in high school that teaches entrepreneurship, how to be a problem solver, how to start up businesses, how to invest. I mean, investment is a key thing. Maybe, here I'm talking about our citizens, maybe teaching them, maybe put together, this just now came to me. What about putting together a community investment fund? Meaning that the community, everybody in the community puts like $50 into a great big fund. And they appoint somebody to run their finances. Now, this is $50 that you can afford. I know it's tough, but you could afford to do this. So if you had, 100 citizens putting $50 in, that would be $5,000. Now you take that money and you invest it, and you teach the kids. This is how your parents are investing their money, and you try to make a return. So let's say everybody puts $5,000. There's a $5,000 total. So you go buy a stock. Or if you want to gamble, you want to go buy options or something. Hey, there's a chance you could turn that $5,000 into $10,000, into $15,000, into $20,000. The risk potential is there, but it's something that could bring a return. I just now thought of that. So teaching kids how to be financially independent, how to learn how to invest in, teach them stocks, teach them bonds, teach them how to invest in precious metals. You know, get them learning early about the basics of what they're going to have to face, how to understand what a scam is. There are scammers out there that take advantage of grown-ups. And teach them how to recognize a scam. Basic life skills. That's something that our kids, a lot of kids go to universities and some of them just can't read or they can't write very well and they don't do well on essays. We have to look at that ahead of time. We have to bang that out in high school. That's where we need to start, is high school. We need to start a minor process when they get into junior high. And that I want to talk more about that other in a few minutes.
So when you mention we, you keep saying we a lot in every time you're talking. We as the taxpayers, we have to take money out of my pocket and keep paying it back to you. We as the taxpayers need to put money into a bank, which are already doing, that is not drawing no interest. Me as the taxpayer that's paying a 401k that have followed the stock market that give me nothing. So you're telling me as taxpayers, I need you to give me money so I can open a college to pay people, give me more money, or give me more money, give me your money so I can save it for you, give me more money, give me more money. So everything is we when you talk. So like I said, who's paying for this we thing? Are you and the corporation paying for this, or the we as in the people? Because I don't want the people paying. This is not a people problem. You're here because when the people go, when we all human beings die, these organizations are going to still be here. So build the organization. Don't worry about the people. So now you're using people money, which you guys print the money regardless. So what you need the taxpayers' money for? Just to keep us poor? What you got for me?
Well, obviously, Alva, Oklahoma can't print its own money. That's only done by the central bank and the Treasury. But the thing is, no, I talk about we because there is a city council, but I don't want us to deal with the money that I just talked about. That would be something that the general community would put on their own, and they would have someone invest that money. Someone is one of them, not the government. You're gonna let us invest? No, we don't want that responsibility. But that's an idea on how to teach how to make money, how to invest in finances. Sometimes you got to take risk to make back a gain. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's sometimes what you've got to do. As far as our young people, we need to try to teach them what the value of money is. Wants and needs, like you teach your young kids. Do I want that? Yes, of course I want that. Do I need that? Yes, I need that. In other words, the government needs to stay out of the people's lives and let the people do their own thing, raise their children right. We have a drug problem. I can't believe it. We have a drug problem in Alva, Oklahoma. I'm like, are you kidding me? In a small city, you have a drug problem. And the kids, they hear about it. They're curious. It's so hard to bring up kids because of all the bombardment of the internet and everything that goes on. Now AI, it makes it absolutely tough. So what we have to do is, I would have to just get out there and say, okay, we're going after everybody. We're going to run all the drugs out of Alva, Oklahoma. If people are doing fentanyl, if people are doing cocaine, if people are doing heroin, we need to get that out of here because they're a bad influence on our young people, and we don't need that kind of influence when they're trying to improve themselves and putting pressure on their parents, wondering, God, I wonder if my son is smoking a joint today after school. I don't want parents to have to worry about that. So one of the things I might have to do is get our police department, and we may have to start doing raids. I mean, the one thing about it is when you take over a drug bust or whatever, you turn those drugs over to the federal government. There are a lot of times you get reward for that. They'll give you money for the drugs that you give over to the federal government that you seize. You've heard of these big drug bust, $1 billion drug bust. Hey, the city gets part of that. The department that makes that bust, they get a piece of that. So in order to bring our kids up right, we got to get the bad influence out of here. And if that means fentanyl, heroin, whatever, then I'm gonna sick the police on them. If it's not the police, I'll bring in the DEA, whatever. Have them just come in here and do a complete sweep. I mean, if that's one of the ways to clean up the city, then I'm going to do it.
Alva is small but divided. How do you plan to unite people who disagree politically, societally, and economically?
The one thing about small city life that I'm finding is it's like, the way I look at it, the outside world is what it is. Why should we care what happens in Oklahoma City? Why should we care what happens in Atlanta, Georgia, or London, England, or anything? We need to take care of ourselves. We need to concentrate on what Alva needs. So there should be no political affiliation in Alva, Oklahoma. We should all be all of one to help each other. Like I said last night, Alvans don't run from disasters. They run toward them. They're the first ones to be to that next town. If a tornado ripped through Cherokee, how many people in Alva would be running to Cherokee to help them out? A whole ton of people, because that's just the way Alvans have been taught, born, however it is. My mother, she was from Oklahoma, Oklahoma City area. She was an Okie, and people, it's like I said in churches. All the churches need to come together. We need to come together as a complete community. No political affiliations. No, oh, I love Trump, I hate Trump. Oh, I don't like the way the government's doing this. I don't like the way the government's doing that. No, we don't give a crap about Atlanta, Georgia, or Oklahoma City. They do nothing for us. What we need to worry about is Alva, Oklahoma. Alva, Oklahoma is where the people of this city live, and we have to take care of each other. And it's up to the mayor, to the city council, the city manager, our fire department, our police department. We all got to take care of each other. That's the main message I want to get across. When I get into office, I want to bring the city together. I don't want no party affiliations. I don't want to hear politics. Politics can go flush into a toilet. I don't care what goes on if we invade Cuba, Venezuela, or whoever. Means nothing to me, means nothing to us. What means everything to us is what's here in Alva, Oklahoma, and that's what we need to focus on.
So you mentioned a lot about help each other. Like the world should come together and help each other. Alva and the state right now, they don't have nothing to give you to help. They helpless themselves. They're looking to you to help me, not help each other. Help me first, then we can help you later. You already drained me. You done tax me. You done do all of this to me. I have nothing else to give you. The only thing I got to give you is my soul, and my soul belongs to Jesus. So you said bringing people together. What are you doing to bring people together? Why would different churches want to come together? They already have a church. Every church have their own church. Come together for what? Even if they come together, it's fine. It's great. Be together with God and a spiritual. But what are you doing to bring them together? You're telling the people what the problem is. You're telling me the problem. I get the problem. I know the problem. Tell me the solution too. So bring people together. How is we bringing people together? How is we bringing people together? And like I said, human beings are irrelevant. That's why they're looking at you to come save them. That's why they're watching this video. They watch this podcast because they want you to save them. They don't want you to tell them, okay, we got to tax you more. We got to use taxpayers' money to do that. Stop taking the taxpayers' money. Leave them money. If anything, give them money. You should help them. Then it should be a wee-wee. But it's not no wee-wee right now or help each other. It's help you and help the big dog. Because like you said, people above you can tell you what to do. Even as a mayor, you have no say. So what you got to say to that player?
Okay, for one thing, I'm not going to raise any taxes. I will not raise taxes. I can't believe that we need to raise taxes that have already are there. They can't go any higher. So I just want to know where all the money's going. Where, if we are $600,000 in debt, where's that money gone? Where is it going? And I want to find that out. And if it's going illegally, then I'm going to stop it. The funnel will be cut, and then that will be the end of it. But I'm not going to tax anybody. It's all about helping each other. What I mean is, like if Noreen needs to go to the store, hey, you as a neighbor, take her to the store and, whatever she needs. That's why I want the transportation system, because I want to have it run to where people don't need to rely on other people. For that matter, you can just hop on a bus, go to Walmart, get your stuff, and hop back on the bus and come home. That's what I want to do. One of the questions on TikTok, somebody says, when are your debates? Well, technically, this is a one-on-one debate. I'm basically got a moderator here that's torturing me right now. But that's what we need. Yeah, but I need to be able to answer the hard questions. This is a hard moderator I have. I known him for a long time. So, but yeah, I know I sound like a broken record in bringing everybody together, but it's up to the government to help the people. I realize that, but to help the people, you have to have the right government in place. And for 10 years, it's been the same stale old government, from what I understand and from what I've talked to people. So I don't know what's happened in the last 10 years. I don't know how much money is available, if any available, where money has gone, where has your water money gone. I don't know. I don't have access to the books on that. But if I'm mayor, I guarantee you I will get the access, and I will get things rolling. And if that means, going to the DA, like I said, I will. I won't even mess with it. And once we find the problem, it's like a cancer. We find it, we cut out, and then we start over and we bring it in. So that's basically the best way I can answer that question. Do you have actual debates against opponents or no? Right now, no. There's one set up. It's not a debate. It's just a question and answer. It's on the 29th. But unfortunately, I won't be here because I am going on a planned trip that was planned for my wife's anniversary. So I won't be able to attend that. But like I've explained to a lot of people, by that time, it comes down to this. You're going to hear the same old stuff out of my two distinguished constituents that you've been hearing for 10 years. They're going to talk about the same thing, the same old thing over and over and over and over again. So it's going to be like the 29th of January. You're going to hear the same thing over and over again. You already know where I stand. I'm going to rock the boat. Oh, am I going to rock the boat? That's what I want to do. I'm the Donald Trump of Alva, Oklahoma. Sorry, I know a lot of you don't like Donald Trump, and that's fine. But you know what? I'm going to do what he did. Going to go into the books, find the waste, and if there's criminal activity in there, I'm going to take care of it. And that will all be transparent. The people will see everything that I find. And it won't be hidden, and it won't be snowed over. So I want to I've got to clean up the drugs. We've got to stimulate more growth. And we've got to bring in revenue. We've got to cut waste. we've got to do a lot. There's a lot of things that need to be done. And like I said, on the 29th, I think it's at the North Tech Vox Center or whatever they call it. It's a nice room from what I understand. They're going to talk about it because I won't be there. I'll be on a trip. So it'll be just them talking about the same old stuff, same old stuff, same old stuff. And if you're happy with that, if you're happy with the same old stuff, then more than happy, go ahead and vote for them. But if you want the change, then you vote for me.
What responsibility does the city have to address mental health, addiction, and isolation, issues that quietly affect small towns?
Well, one of the main problems there is there's not enough social workers usually in small towns to be able to handle mental health. I mean, I haven't seen, in my 4 years I've been in Alva, Oklahoma, I haven't seen a lot of mental health problems. I've met a few people, but not like in the big city. I mean, in like Phoenix, it was like every block there were 2 or 3 people that were talking to themselves, or they just weren't all there. So mental health usually comes from isolation, from the way I was always taught. And when you're isolated and you don't have much, many people to talk to, you get isolated, you get horrible thoughts in your mind. And it's up to your neighbors. Neighbors, we all need to be friendly. I mean, you need to check on your neighbor. If you don't see them for a couple days, knock on the door, find out if they're okay. Somebody wants to know about the update on the casino. There will be no casino in Alva, Oklahoma, at least for the near future because of the land rush. But we don't have the money to have social workers here. And it's easy for bigger cities. So we have to try to help it from within. And the great thing about like our fire department, our EMS, and our police, a lot of our police know pretty much everybody in the city. So our local services, they know who could be on the borderline of mental health or a problem. And then in small towns, it's easier to weed out because, again, there's not that many people. But when you're in a big city, it's so hard to weed out because everybody gets lost in the mix. So I haven't seen mental health as a major problem in Alva, Oklahoma yet. And I'm hoping, if elected, I can keep that at a minimum by getting more community engagement.
So you mentioned neighbors should check on their neighbors and make sure everyone is okay. The reason why the neighbors is not going to check on the neighbors, because the neighbor themselves is not okay. Both neighbors are miserable. Both neighbors are going through the same shit. Both neighbors have no food. Both neighbors have to pay bills. So who is another neighbor to ask someone what's their problem when their shit is not organized? But you also mentioned previously 5 minutes ago, you talk about drugs and bringing in the DEA into Alva. Like Alva is a drug, it's a crack addict, like it's a drug place, like crackhead all over the places. Then you just said 2 seconds ago, you don't see no one homeless, you don't see no mental health, you don't see no Alva look normal to you. So how Alva look normal to you? How is it that you see Alva as a drug town? You keep mentioning drugs, like I said.
My observations, I haven't seen it for myself, but I have suspicions based on people that have told me what they see. And I mean, it is a problem, but people that do drugs, especially fentanyl, I mean, they're basically isolating their isolation, and nobody's not going to ever have food in Alva, Oklahoma. Nobody's ever not going to have food. I'll make dang sure of that. But overall, a small town can be a little boring, but people like that small town. They're used to bring back Taco Bell. Yeah, Chick-fil-A will be one of them. I don't know how to describe it. I came from a big city, but I should have never been in a big city. My heart was always small, but I had to just deal with, the streets and being around. Oh, don't get me wrong. I was around a lot of criminals and everything when I was young, and I wasn't myself, but that was just what the streets were all about. People on the streets had to survive, and that included the homeless. I had a homeless nonprofit in Colorado Springs. Oh, I dealt a lot with mental health back then because it was a big city. And people were homeless. I mean, sleeping on the streets, sleeping in shanties, sleeping in their in tents. I mean, it was a sickening thought. Students were homeless. They were living in homeless shelters trying to do their work. I mean, I dealt with this. I did a lot of social work on knowing what mental health is. Mental health exists very severely in big cities because big cities, people don't care. They just don't want to help. They see somebody on the street sleeping, they just walk on by. Somebody could actually need help. They just walk on by. But in small town life, people do help people that are in trouble, stranded on the side of the road. That's why I feel that mental health, even though, yeah, there could be, and I don't know if it's if Alva's drug infested as it is. The only way we're going to find out is to just do a sweep and see where all the chips go and get the bad element out of there. Might be surprising. There might be just a few. And if there's only a few, that would be fantastic. But yeah, I was around mental health in Colorado Springs great because I had to study it. And I mean, it was bad, but a lot of homeless people liked that life. They wanted to be homeless. They wanted to be on the street. So, I mean, I didn't understand it, but the reasoning that I found out, about 75% of the reasoning was they don't like nobody telling them what to do. They don't want government telling them what to do. They don't want the police telling them what to do. They don't want city officials telling them what to do. They like to just be in their life and just do what they want and just do what they want to do on their own and not have anybody tell them a job. Go and, it's funny. In the big city, you see people standing on medians and they hold signs up that say, homeless, can you spare change or $1 or whatever else? And people say, well, why don't you get a job? Well, when you're standing in a median in a busy intersection, sucking in all them fumes and everything, I think that's a job. If it's 100 degrees outside like it was in Phoenix some days, sometimes 115 degrees, and you're standing out there in the sun, in the heat, and you've got a sign saying, I need money, well, that's a job as far as I'm concerned. If you stay in there 4 or 5 hours, that's a job. And, people feel sorry for that. But we don't have that in a small town. Small cities are based on the people. That's what makes a small city, is the people helping people. I can't overstress that enough. But it's up to the government, the mayor and the city council, to make it as easy as they can on those people. And if the government can't do that, then the people can't help themselves in a way that they need to, and they start revolting, or they start, getting angry, and then things happen and bad things happen. So me being mayor, it's not going to be easy, and I won't be able to fix it overnight. No, I can't. But I'm going to weed out all the problems that are creating the ceiling that are keeping our citizens from really feeling what the American dream is really all about. And I feel that I just need a year. Even a year, I think I could at least get the ball rolling on some things. So that's all I'm asking. I can't do any worse than what's already there.
How prepared is Alva for economic downturns, natural disaster, or unexpected crisis? And what would you improve?
Well, every city that I've ever been associated with has what's called a rainy day fund. And basically what a rainy day fund is, you put tax money away into a situation, and you put it away for just in case there is a disaster. Now, of course, you're going to get federal disaster, aid from the government, from the state, but you want to have your own money too, because all they're going to come in and do, they're going to make sure you have food, water, and shelter. And maybe they'll give you loans to rebuild your home if it happens to be, because the only real natural disasters here in Alva or in a lot of cities in Oklahoma is tornadoes. And tornadoes, as we can see, can be very destructive. And so we have to put money aside to be ready for the deeper things that might come out of that disaster. Sure, you'll get your home built, but you need furniture, you need food, you need water, you need to get, all these things. Well, if we have a rainy day fund, then then the city goes and can help support those people and get them back on their feet, even after FEMA has done whatever they've done and left. Those people are still going to need help from the city to take care of that. Now, do we have a rainy day fund in Alva, Oklahoma? I don't know. Maybe somebody will answer that. Maybe somebody on the current city council can answer that. I don't know. Do we need one? Of course we need one. If there isn't one, or if there's no money in it, I will make sure to start putting money in it. No, even if it's $1,000 a month, something. So we have to. Small towns can survive economic disasters, usually because the cities will get together and prepare for that. That's also part of the rainy day fund. What happens if we have a drought, a water shortage? Okay, we can have a water shortage. That could be happening. It could be on the way. We need a rainy day fund to help offset that. We may have to go out and and help people buy bottles of water from Walmart or whatever, or have it shipped in so that we can have drinking water. I mean, there's all kinds of things we can use a rainy day fund for. And it's so important for cities to have one of those, because we all know disasters happen. Life happens. We have to be ready for it as best as we can. I don't foresee any major economic disasters happening to Alva, Oklahoma. But it's always nice to know that you've got that money put away in case it does happen.
You speak of a rainy day, and you, like I said, you always going back to the we. You always want the taxpayers, so you just get into
the we I'm talking about is the government that represents the people. That's what I mean, we. I can't say I, because I don't have full capacity and control over where the money goes. I have a city council I have to answer to. That's why I say we.
What truly separates you from other candidates? Not in words, but in decision. You're willing to make that others won't.
I'm willing to beg for whatever I need to get done for the city of Alva. I already know what my two fine constituents have done. They've done it over the last 10 to 12 years. It's just what's gone on in Alva. What makes me different is the fact I don't like stale economy. I don't like stale things. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a problem solver. I want to bring in fresh funding. I want to find out where the waste is going. I want to find out who's doing what, who's taking money here, or why is this money being diverted here when it should have went here? I mean, I want to break vibrancy to the city. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't want it to be the good old boy system. I don't want it to be the rut system. I don't want it to be business as usual. I want to stimulate growth. I want to come up with ideas, just like I came up with the investment ideas. I can't think about all the ideas right now because I'm under a little bit of a, question and answers, and I'm trying to answer the questions as best as I can because I know how tough you are. So you're not going to get a moderator tougher than the one I'm dealing with right now. So just letting you know about that. But if I'm still willing to do any debate, a straight debate anywhere before the 28th of January, I am open to anything. I have made that perfectly clear. So, yeah, I'm going to be gone a week, and I get back the 9th, the day before the election. But everybody will have already made up their minds by then, because they are. It's a simple decision. If you like government the way it's going right now, vote for Mr. Milton or vote for Mr. Parsons. If you want to change or an attempt at a change, some new life, some new ideas, then elect me. It's that simple. Are you better off 4 years ago or 8 years ago, or would you rather be better off now into the future? That's basically it.
What do you believe is the biggest threat to the United States right now? Not from outside enemies, but from within.
Within the state, you have a lot of Islamics, and don't get me wrong, Islamics don't love Americans. You might hear that, but most of them don't. It's just bred into their integrity. They're here. They're waiting. You know, the Roman Empire. I talk about the Roman Empire and use that as an example, and a lot of other people have used the Roman Empire as an example. And it was not conquered by an outside enemy. It was conquered from within, because the people lost track of what everything they had stood for was about. They started fighting amongst themselves. You hear rumors of civil war right now. The conservatives against the liberals. I mean, that's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, it's getting closer and closer every time something happens. I like the idea of bowling alley. I'm talking about a whole bunch of other stuff within that bowling alley. Thank you there, dude. I know you young people. I know most of you young people on TikTok are talking about it. Yes, I am. I have said I will try to bring something here to make it at least more fun for you guys. But it's like we're ready to implode. And, you know, it was funny. I remember Mikhail Gorbachev had a quote one time. He said, "Gentlemen, we won't have to fire a shot. All we got to do is wait for the United States to destroy itself." And he could be right. And, you know, in some ways, that's happening now. Could we destroy ourselves? And then think about this. Damien, you have my vote. Okay, thanks, Damien. I hope you're an Alva voter. But they talk about who's going to be in charge of the nuclear button. And, you know, you had the January 6th insurrection, as they like to call it. Who's going to be in charge of the button? And will that person just decide to push it and the whole world goes kaplooey? That's always a possibility, too. You just don't know. I mean, but we here in Alva can't worry about that. I don't know of any Islamic splinter cells in Alva, Oklahoma, so I don't think we have to worry about it here. But if it starts happening in other places, we don't worry about it until it gets close to us. And then if it gets close to us, then we go and we bite its head off before it gets here. That's what we have to do. We have to take care of ourselves, take care of each other, and defend ourselves if that comes to pass. And civil wars are very vicious, very demanding. They draw on the economy really bad. So somebody asked, where are you going on vacation? I'm going to Curacao and cruise the Caribbean. So yeah, that's how it will it'll destroy itself within. The United States will destroy itself within unless something is done.
How would you protect the middle class workers from inflation while still allowing businesses to grow?
Read the question again.
How would you protect the middle class and working class from inflation while still allowing businesses to grow?
Here, in Alva, Oklahoma, there's not really a middle class. This is a city where it's basically low I'm not going to say poverty, but it's going to be a low poverty, and then we have a few wealthy people. We don't really have a middle class here too much, just like the rest of the country. So we have to protect the inflation by being smart and thrifty. We have farmers. Farmers raise beef. Farmers raise vegetables. Farmers raise fruits. If worse came to worse, we would start buying from our own farmers instead of not. Is there going to be a war in Alva? Oh my goodness. No, there is going to be no war in Alva. Alva is a very well secured and strong community within itself. There will be no war in Alva. Then we have a farmer's market, where we buy our own fruits and vegetables. There's ways to keep inflation away from our city. And like I said, what goes on outside, we have the capability. We can grow our own food. We can get our own beef, our own pork. I mean, our farmers can, if it came down to it, our farmers could help the city. They'd make sure that Alva, Oklahoma and the citizens would have plenty of food to eat. So that's just the way they think. Right now, everything is fine. People have access to 2 stores in Alva, Oklahoma, and they buy their food. Some of it is more expensive than others. You change your diet. You just don't eat out. You buy in. It stinks that you don't have generic meats. Like you go to Walmart, Great Value has everything, and it's a generic brand. But the one thing they don't have is generic beef. So, I mean, maybe they need that. I don't know. But Alva in itself, I wouldn't let inflation would not affect us as bad. I wouldn't let it.
What is your philosophy on war? When should America intervene and when should they stay out?
I believe in preemption. I believe you cut the head of the snake before the snake gets fully grown. And meaning by that, if you have dissension, you have to nip it in the butt. So like right now, according to our president, and I'm going off topic here, we've hit Venezuela. We've gotten rid of a dictator. Is Cuba next? Cuba seems to be next. Apparently what the president wants to do is he wants to get rid of the bad element before it becomes a bad element. We don't want Russia, China in our hemisphere, in our southern hemisphere. We don't want them here. So the only way to keep them out is to establish good, clean governments to make sure that they don't get here. Some would say, a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, in other words, the United States want puppet leaders. People that give in to the United States, you control the strings. No government wants to do that. I certainly wouldn't do that here in Alva, for criminy sakes. And I wouldn't expect anybody else in city government to do the same thing. And the only way to stop disasters from happening is preemption. Nip them in the butt before it happens. That's the best way to keep disasters and wars from happening.
Well, right there tells a lot of people how you think, right? So how should you balance national security with personal freedom in a digital age of surveillance, data, and AI?
Well, I've always believed that government needs to stay out of people's business. How they raise their children is how people need to raise them. Here in Alva, a lot of the students, a lot of the kids are raised properly. There's a few bad apples. You're going to find bad apples in every society. But I mean, overall, our kids are learning the right way, and that's what makes it good and makes it fun. So, with technology, it's making it harder for. I admire parents. I admire parents like there is no tomorrow for what they have to deal with to raise their kids, considering all the bombardment that they have from the internet and AI and everything else. So, parents, especially here in Alva, you're doing a great job with your kids. I've met a lot of them, and they're very respectable, and you should be very proud of yourselves.
Final question for you. When your
Nathan, thank you for the times 4 rows.
Final question for you. When your presidency ends, what would you
My
want?
presidency?
Yeah.
I'm not president.
I know. Don't worry. Just go to the question. When your presidency ends, what would you want history to say you protected? Power, the people, or principle?
Always the people. The people come first in any society, whether it's government, state, or city. In Alva, Oklahoma, the people come first. They have to always come first. If I have to give up my life to save the people, then I'll give up my life to save the people. I'm very comfortable in knowing that my Creator and my God is out there. Thank you for the roses, guys.
Okay, right. So I have a fun phrase that I find it's curiosity to me. So hear the phrase.
You're gonna love this.
Black man invented stoplight. White man invented tickets. Black man invented light bulbs. White man invented electrical bills. Black man invented telephone. White man invented telephone bills. What's your perspective on that?
It's what I've always believed. That, let me tell you, blacks are a lot more intelligent than people give them credit for, and I will stand by that statement at any time. You know, when going off topic a little bit, when I coached Pop Warner football, almost 90% of my players were black. And the reason for being that, yeah, I knew they were great athletes, but I knew they had the smarts. They ran my team. I didn't coach them. They ran it themselves. So they have the ability to do what they need to do. They've come a long way in society, and we cannot keep them pinned down. They deserve their right to be equal with every race on this planet. And I like that. That's an interesting synology that I find very, very fascinating. But whatever. I mean, you know, I think I grew up. You know, I lived on the streets. I was a Shorelawn Crip. You know, I mean, and I'm white, but some of the smartest gang members that are black are entrepreneurs because they know how to make money. And I don't mean by stealing or anything. They know how they have it up here. They know how to survive. Survival is the fittest on the streets. Always remember that, guys. And I know, you know, a lot of students don't know that. But hey, you know what? Everybody is an equal. Everybody has the right to do what they need to do. Don't ever put somebody down because of their race, color, or creed. You know, because that's not right. Everybody deserves a chance to enjoy the fruits of everything that goes on in life. And as far as Alva, Oklahoma is concerned, we are going to take care of ourselves. Whether I'm mayor or not, I'm still going to help people if I can. So I just want to let you all know that if you put me in that office, I will work for you. I will make sure that I will give you every bit of experience, every bit of my mind that I can to help this city grow. I know I haven't covered a whole lot, but I will. I'm a quick thinker. I just, there's just certain situations that I don't come up with ideas fast, but I got a lot of ideas. So for the Facebook and the Rumble guys, thank you. And for everybody that's watching this video, Alva, please make me mayor. Please give me that 1 year. I won't let you down. I will work hard for you. I promise you that.
And there you have it, people. Mind your business.